Coming to you live from deep within a very sunny radioactive wasteland. Quite nice, actually. It's like Chernobyl 50 years after the fact. Everything's recovered for some strange reason. Anyway, coming to you live from deep within a nice radioactive wasteland. We are the survivors of the alt-right Keck apocalypse. The few, the brave, the babe. The babe.
We are the babe.
What babe? The babe with the power. The power of voodoo? Hoodoo. You do.
We're also the britchy.
Do what?
The britchy.
Talk about the babe.
The few, the babe, the britchy. Once more wading into battle against the froggy lobster zombie plastic doll hordes.
Oh no, are we talking Barbie?
Yes, we are!
Fuck you! I didn't agree to that. I just said I'd come on. I didn't want to talk about Barbie. You suck and I hate you.
You know what? It's not sexual assault. It's just made to Barbie.
I'm postmenopausal. That means I'm in my second adolescence. And so I'm going to throw teenager temper tantrums all stream.
Okay. Well, you know what? That sounds like it would be slightly amusing. So here we go. All right.
We are Fundzerker.
Yeah, it's Fundzerker.
174. Randzerker 174.
Randzerker 174. Are women using Barbie to test their husband's fealty to feminism? I would say also their dates and their boyfriends and probably other male.
Oh yeah, they're men. I'm sorry. I thought I would just go right to the, we watched this movie together and now I'm divorcing you because you weren't sufficiently, like, I don't know, whatever it is that men are expected to do. So.
This would have been so much better if it was just a rerun of Barbarella.
But Barbarella is sexist, Allison.
No, it isn't.
I know.
Okay, yes, it is. Yes,
okay.
It is.
No. I mean, I agree with you. It isn't. But you don't understand when I say this thing is this way. I'm not saying what I think. I'm saying what you're supposed to think, right? You're supposed because back when Barbarella came out, it was probably feminist. Like it, kind of like when Barbie.
It was Jane Fonda.
Yeah, it was Jane Fonda, right? When the Barbie doll was first made, it was feminist. Now it's not. It's white feminist or something. It's bad feminism. So.
Well, I mean, the Barbarella movie, like, it was supposedly based like a female James Bond in space, right?
Yeah. Basically,
I don't do anything but have sex with people. I'm like, yes. Have you watched?
Yeah, James Bond bangs like one or two chicks a movie, but mostly he gets the job done. I think that somebody was overcompensating a bit.
There was one movie, okay? There was one movie where the only thing proactive that James Bond did was seduce pussy galore into changing sides.
Yeah, that's the purpose of.
Yeah, he was the honey stamen.
The Bond.
There you go.
That's right. That's the purpose of the Bond seduction.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's right out of the Bond playbook. And she did occasionally. I think she shot a laser beam once.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Oh, she did foil a dastardly plot by being.
They got about as close as they could to porn without actually making it porn. That's what I think.
Yeah, with the
Barbarella. I don't know why they didn't make a porn because. Wasn't that in around the time that Caligula came out? And
oh my God!
Oh yeah, you guys watched that, right?
I did. I went to the theater.
Malcolm McDowell and.
Yep.
You watched Caligula in the theater?
They showed it in the theater. I didn't know it was showing it. It was like this little art house theater, and this girl I was with, she was like, "Let's go watch Caligula," and I was like, "What is it?" And then I watched it.
And then you found out.
Yeah, it was probably not the...
Is it a prelude to anything more that date?
It was probably probably not the totally uncut version, though. Because...
They showed some stuff. They showed...
Oh, no, they showed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they showed a lot of stuff, and I don't just mean nudity.
Did they show a woman peeing on a man's dead body right after he was murdered?
Yeah.
I think it was Velma, actually.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
Didn't we see that in Velma?
Well, yeah, Velma was gross in other ways.
Oh no, she didn't pee on the woman's body. She just sort of
She
did the crab dance on
think
it.
she was gonna take a dump on them or something, but
Oh no, she
She
teabagged it.
teabagged.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How do you guys not know this
It's called
terminology?
Clam.
She teabagged.
When women do it, it's a clam slam. It's not a tea
And
bag.
clam slap. She
Oh
slapped
my
clam
god.
all over that corpse. Oh, I can't believe Christians listen to us. I think they might. I'm sorry. This is going to be the rant zerkers usually.
Also, apologies to Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists, and anyone else with
Anyone that
any
has a
kind
sense
of
of
moral fiber.
yeah, anybody that's morally decent in any way.
I mean, the only thing to recommend us morally is that we actually don't hate half the human race.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Or blame them for everything. Okay, so
So we're
we are
gonna be
looking at the article.
yeah, we're gonna be looking at the
I just
article.
as a premise. Okay, sorry, preface. And I'll get to do the things as well. I sent out a tweet about this article, and I said, "This is just a movie about a toy, guys." Because there's a bunch of people who've gotten upset about this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is just a movie about a toy. Well, it's not really just a movie about a toy if you are alleging that either women have or should base their mate choices on men's opinions about this movie. It's moving into a different direction, huh?
Yeah.
If you're using it as an ideological purity testing. So I did a tweet and I said, lads, if you are being you're being subject to ideological purity testing, you are not in a relationship, you're in a cult.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I want to preface that if you are with a partner who, I mean, admittedly, there are some movies out there that if your partner likes, you might want to scuttle out the side exits.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody doesn't like this movie, especially if someone doesn't like the incredibly tone-deaf feminism in this movie, I think that's getting a bit culty to demand that they adhere to your ideology in that respect. Did you want to say something there, Karen? Because I can see that you've gone green.
What? Oh no, it's just because my dog was walking around.
It's picking up. I didn't hear it, but I guess from my setting up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just listening to you guys. I did not watch the Barbie movie.
We'll fill you in.
I haven't heard anything wonderful about it.
Woke, like the people, the PC, the politically correct crowd. That's what we used to call them, or the social.
Well,
justice.
there is this rumor going around that it's kind of wokety woke.
Wokety
Well,
woke.
we could go into it, but
that it's woke. It's woke about its own wokeness, and it's kind of poking fun. It's poking. It's pokety woke.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that intelligent. I know that people are like reading into it and they're like, "Oh, this is so deep. There's layers, guys." No, Greta Gerwig is not that smart. She's just.
I would say Greta Gerwig, the entity that exists solely to evince this feminism or what's left of the female psychology, may not be intelligent enough, but perhaps her subconscious is a more intelligent creature, like the octopus at the base of her skull, the one with the tentacles on the levers. Maybe it is woke about woke.
Maybe, but I don't give her that much credit.
Yeah, no, but I have heard some people arguing that it's actually I want to change that to pokety woke. It wants to poke wokeness.
Okay,
where it hurts.
I think Brian is definitely
in its most vulnerable and embarrassing spots.
Yeah.
So, pokety woke.
Brian is definitely in the camp of Barbie is 100% on the 100% what it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Considering who's
you can
Produced it
you can read into it and be like pull things out like accidentally based, but I do not agree. I think that doing that is giving them way too much credit. They're just trying to indoctrinate children. That's why they marketed it at children and then gave you a PG-13 movie. So
yeah, I know, but it's like there are some people who are saying it's kind of like
yeah,
Titania McGrath or whatever her name is.
right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Andrew Doyle's little
that just goes to show. Yeah, it just goes to show where we are.
It's a giant Poe.
Yeah, that's
otherwise known as potentially Pokety woke.
There is no gap between pose and real wokeness now. They're basically
there's no gap. There's no gap between Poe and Pokety woke.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to point out that we can say that this was intended to be like the person who wrote this and directed it, whatever, intended this to be interpreted as a pro-feminist statement.
At face value, basically.
At face value. At the same time as I think there is room to look at this and say, this person is so unenlightened about themselves and the world that really what they're doing is just presenting something about themselves.
Well, they're just exposing. They're exposing all of that. Okay, so the opening scene, right? The opening scene being the homage to
2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah, where the bikini, the bathing suit clad Barbie appears to the little girls playing with their baby dolls, and the little girls start smashing their baby dolls' heads in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so kill your babies. That's great. In order to trade your existence, throw off the shackles of motherhood and family, right?
Yep.
And embrace a new freedom of sexual objectification. Okay, and then all of a sudden the girls are, the Barbies are getting flat feet and they're getting fat because their girls are playing with them in all the wrong ways. And it's like, okay, so how is there a way in which women are not oppressed? There
is no way.
Are they modestly dressed mothers, right? Who are nurturers, take care of their families and contribute to their communities, or are they total freaking sluts who are obsessed with their appearance? Right? It's like this and it's like
whatever makes is whatever's better for the GDP, really, at the end of the day.
Well, no, it's whatever agrees with feminists this particular day.
Yeah, this time of day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into it. I should display the article, right, and tell people what it is that we're looking at.
Yes,
okay.
And I want to clarify my statement. Whatever is best for the GDP. You know that feminism is just a freaking corporate, like it's basically just a sales pitch, corporate sales pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but who are they? Who are they actually making money off of? Right? Because they're not
women.
No,
no, and I'm not going to disagree with the premise that women are responsible for feminism.
No. Alison.
Yeah.
Before feminism, there was no such thing as $32 trillion worth of debt.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. No, you're right. You're right. It's also a government. It's an anything centralizing sales pitch, really. But I do have to.
It's not a money making venture. It's not. It's not. It's lucrative to certain people, but it has to be taxpayer funded, and then we are forced.
Taxpayer funded.
So it's
we're forced. We're forced
mostly
to pay for it, and then we're forced to pledge our kids' future incomes and our grandkids' future incomes and our great grandkids' future incomes to pay for it.
That's the woke Z scheme. Okay. But speaking of sales pitches, I have to remind everybody that we are doing our monthly fundraiser, which is at feedthebadger.com/support. Please do take the time to put that in your URL bar, your web address bar, whatever it's called now. Feedthebadger.com/support. If you are able, you're able to give $5, $10, it really is appreciated. And of course, it's great to see any other amount over that as well. I don't want to make you guys feel like you're unappreciated. Everybody's appreciated. Please go to feedthebadger.com/support to make sure that we can keep these shows going for this month and then moving on into next month. And if you want to send us a message at any time during the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. If you would like to tell us something, if you would like to say that you are enjoying the show, if you want to say something incredibly cryptic that will make us scratch our heads, which occasionally you guys do, always entertaining, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. So to support us, feedthebadger.com/support, and to send us a tip, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. I think Brian is doing some sort of black magic in the background, so you'll see stuff and there'll be.
I just played a sound, yeah, and I want to just say real quick, hello to everybody that's over on Rumble. Go to rumble.com and subscribe to us there, or whatever you people call it. Follow, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, go there because Rumble's growing, and I think that it seems to be as far as like alternatives to YouTube are concerned. It looks like it's becoming a very strong competitor. And Twitter, so you can also follow us. So on Rumble, we are HB Radio. On Twitter, what's the Honey Badger Bite on Twitter? Mm-hmm. So, because we're also streaming there. So, or X. I'm sorry, X, not Twitter.
On X.
On X.
On X. Everybody's freaking out about that. I mean, I don't really care. I just am enjoying Twitter as a micro blogging platform.
I think that Elon Musk is really bad at naming stuff, like his kids. Well,
he named one of his kids X.
Yeah.
Zygote
so he named it after his
Zygote number 19.
Yeah.
God.
I don't know. It's the solve
it's the fact
for X.
It's the fact he's a space alien searching for the weirdest women to have lay eggs with.
South Africa is a weird place. All right,
that is my theory about Elon Musk. I don't think that's unflattering. He's like the man who fell to Earth, like David Bowie. Just
yes,
thinks different.
Okay, but well, and I'm sure Elon Musk has nipples.
We don't know that.
Oh, did David Bowie not have nipples in that?
Well, he had prosthetic. He took.
Oh,
Alison,
that's right.
He was an alien. Is
Karen's
it me or is it
breaking
Karen?
Karen is breaking up a little bit. You were, but I think you're
it's
okay.
The Karen bot. The Karen bot.
I don't know if it was the Karen bot. My dog just decided to turn himself into a maraca.
Oh.
Ooh.
So.
Is he okay now?
Yeah, no, he was just shaking, but he has his little ID tag, and then he has like a tracking tag, just in case he escapes. Because he's an intact male, and they roam far, looking in the everlasting search for poon. They will. A 15-pound dog like him will go like 30, 40 miles.
Wow.
Roaming. Yeah. Searching for poon. Yeah.
So far, Scipio has stayed pretty. He's a bit of a homebody. He's a German Shepherd, so it's like if you close the door in the house, he's like right there. He's wait, do you need me for something? No, I'm okay. I'm just going to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, no, mine. You know what he does? Okay,
what?
I go into the bathroom. I don't close the door because we don't do that in the house because it's just me and my husband now.
Good.
And so Borat just comes and he just puts his little chin on my knee and he gazes up into my eyes the whole time I'm peeing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Jojo doesn't come in the bathroom where you're using it.
Well, you know why
he lays outside the door.
He covers because as soon as it's flushed, it's like the water's fresh.
Oh, yeah, no. Kevin's always trying to drink out of the toilet.
Yeah.
Borat also, Borat also, if he's outside pooping and you're watching him, he springs a boner and he stares at you. He just makes really uncomfortable eye contact with you the whole time.
Wow.
Whatever. And he's got his entire lipstick just like right out there, bright red.
Yeah. Red Rocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, this is okay, guys. We're just preparing you for the Barbie movie.
Let's get into the article. I did get a super chow just now, so thank you for the super chow. Let me just give you a. Woo! And it's for $20 from Anonymous, and they say, just wondering if the Barbies reflects the state of their owners. Doesn't that mean that there are also owners of the Kens, and who are these people? You're giving this way too much consideration. Telling me.
Actually, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
The Ken doll was a girl's toy too. So
I don't know. Okay, because when I played with Barbies, which was right when I was like on the cusp of puberty and starting to have sexual feelings, I played with Barbies in ways that would have made my mother's hair turn white if she'd ever caught me.
Yeah, sure.
For
sure.
Yeah,
I don't think that was weird.
Bondage fantasies and no, not water sports. That's disgusting. But like bondage fantasies, like I had one Barbie who was like, she was like the table, and she'd be on her hands and knees being a table.
Mm-hmm.
And the other Barbie would be sitting there, you know, eating off of naked table Barbie's back. And I have no idea where these freaking thoughts came from, because I've never been exposed to anything like that. But, you know, maybe they're just like some deep in women's reptilian brains. Maybe they want Kens.
An interesting chapter in Barbie.
Maybe they want Kens to be like the Kens in the Barbie movie. To try and take over. Take over through sheer force and dominance.
The Kens really don't use that. I don't think. Is it ever clarified what the Kens do to take over Barbie Land?
I think we should. Can we get into the article?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. We'll get into it, because I was the person that had to watch it twice, and I paid attention both times. All right. So the title is "Women Reportedly Using." This is from The Blaze, so they're a conservative website, so they're just sort of like telling us what's been going on with this movie. Not necessarily, as far as I know, giving an opinion. So, women reportedly using the Barbie movie to test if men in their lives support feminism. One even broke up with her boyfriend after his in-theater reaction. So, just based on that. So, we'll get into, I guess we'll figure out what the details are. But it sounds like a girl and her boyfriend went to see the Barbie movie. He probably didn't really want to go. But maybe he was like, okay, this could be, you know, like a silly movie based on a toy, like Transformers and the Ninja Turtles and other, you know, toy properties.
Lego movie.
Yeah, the Lego movie, right, exactly. And then he sat there and he saw, like, you know, straight up feminist talking points and was probably like, you know, I don't think these things that they're claiming men do actually are things that men do. But let's find out. So here's a picture. And a lot of people that were like posting pictures of themselves reacting in front of the, you know, the big posters to sort of show us, look, I don't hate women. I'm going to watch this movie, because that's the new litmus test. So,
oh God.
Women are reportedly using the Barbie movie to test if the men in their lives support feminism. What are the details? NBC News said women around the world and across social media are encouraging one another to test whether the men in their lives understand or at least are receptive to the movie's feminist messaging. It's like,
okay, wait.
Okay.
Wait. All right. And we might be losing Karen behind because she hasn't watched this, but we can maybe get her on board. I watched it. I tried really hard to watch it, but I'm particularly allergic to bad storytelling. And then I rewatched it to try to figure certain things out that I had questions about. What is the feminist message of this film?
It's the whole fucking movie, Allison. There's nothing else. Really, it's just
it's
a 2-hour slam poem, is what it is.
But it's completely inconsistent internally.
Do you know why it's inconsistent internally? Because
Oh,
feminism
because
is inconsistent.
feminism is. Yeah.
So all it is, Allison, is men bad because, and then all of the bad things. They're dumb, but they're powerful. They
Well, that's
are
the only-
sexist. They hit on women. They oppress them. Patriarchy is it's like godlike, so godlike that Ken gets a few books
But-
on
yeah, but
patriarchy, goes back to Barbie Land, and takes it over in a day, and
Okay,
inverts all
alright,
the
alright.
roles.
But they're also useless and incompetent.
Yes,
It's
but they're
just like-
also useless. Yes, simultaneously.
yeah, and
Okay.
stupid. But yeah, no, it's internally completely inconsistent because it's like, and I won't even get into the Kens. I'll just get into the narrative on women, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bash your baby's head in on a rock, okay, so that you can be the bikini-clad icon that's appeared to you, because that's what feminism tells you you should do. And then you get flat feet and get fat because because being sexy isn't what feminism is about. Right? And it's just like, can feminism please just pick one fucking narrative? Just make up its mind. Okay,
No, that's
so
patriarchy
literally
thinking,
what
Karen.
you're telling me, Allison, is that feminism is the quintessential woman. Fickle.
It's fickle.
Yeah.
The reason why it can't pick one narrative is that it always has to model women being victims of everything. They have to be victims. Women have to be
So
victims
first,
of
at
X.
in the
and not
beginning,
X.
women were victims of babies.
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
killed
Yes,
all
in
the
the-
babies.
And in the beginning, and
And
after
then-
that, women were
And then
victims
after that, women were the victims of repressed sexuality. So they started dressing slutty. And then
And
after
then
that, women were the victims of men wanting to have sex with them and saying so. And then after that, women became the victims of getting fat and
Aging.
and
undesirable to
wearing
men.
Birkenstocks.
Yeah. Yeah. But men are not. None of that applies to men. Wait.
Oh no,
Men are
men are
never
just
victims.
stupid. Men are just stupid, incompetent, yet all powerful, and able to take over an entire universe in a single day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have something specific to say because it's related to the discussion around this movie. Which again, how do you break up with somebody for not agreeing with like this? This is just a shit test. Like there
It
is
is.
nothing in this movie that is consistent
Yep.
for a person who thinks logically or rationally to agree with.
Yep.
So basically, this is just the end of 1984, where the Big Brother is saying, Winston, you have to. Not only do you have to agree that 2 + 2 = 5, you have to believe that it does because we said it does. That's
Mhm.
it. So these women are going like, oh, that incoherent mess you saw? You have to agree with it. And the guys are just looking at them like thinking, will I lose my house if I say no? You know,
Yeah. Will I lose my house if I say no
Okay,
to the
how
idea?
about this?
Because it's not
How-
even agreeing with feminism, because that movie was like there was nothing, there was this, that, the other. It was a big fart of nothing. So you're basically asking men to agree with something with no consistent premise.
That's what
This is like
feminism is, though.
torture. Okay,
All right,
I'm autistic. This is torture for people like me. And I've been
Okay.
told that autism is like masculine brain thing.
I have a pragmatic point of view here. And a pragmatic solution to propose. Men, sit your women down in front of, I don't know,
A masculine movie? Are you going to suggest? Like
Gran Torino, or
Fast and the Furious X?
No.
I'm kidding.
Gran Torino or Last of the Mohicans, and ask them at the end of it, does that not belong in the top 20 movies of all time? And
Yeah,
if
but-
she says no, dump her ass.
Yeah, for sure. Women should like Last of the Mohicans, though. It's very romantic.
Oh,
I-
Jesus Christ. The sexual tension in that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think women would like that movie too much. I think it should be something more like the Predator or the 13th Warrior or something.
13th Warrior is...
Yeah. Gladiator. Women like that one too.
Here's my top 3 movies, okay? Last of the Mohicans, Gladiator, 13th Warrior. After that, Gran Torino. After that, Unforgiven.
Yeah. Good movie. Those are all good. Those are all very... I would say they're manly, but I don't think they're exclusively... Because I don't think there's any male equivalent to the Barbie film or other feminist movies. I don't think there is a masculine equivalent to that. No, I mean like one that like it exists to shame and criticize women and prop up men. Whether artificial or real. Like, I don't think there's anything like that. At worst, weird science? Because they make a girl in it? So...
Yeah, but even she's smarter than them.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
But in terms of... And they're just like basically Rom and Jake Sisko on Deep Space Nine. He's like, oh my god, it's a good-looking girl, and she like talked to us. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Although Anthony Michael Hall did grow into a fairly fine man. But okay, I will say, when you're looking at something like something that's completely degrading to women, that was actually like a pop culture fictional narrative that's completely degrading to women, that a man thought up in his own brain, I think the only thing that you'll get is the gore novels.
The gore novels, which are very popular with women?
Yeah, written by a man, popular with women.
Korean fandom is like a clam bake.
Oh yeah, no, it's and so, but when you actually look at like the things that point to women being submissive, subjugated, whether that's something titillating or whether that's something horrifying, right? It's either 50 Shades of Grey or The Handmaid's Tale. Ooh, women authors. Oh. Wow.
God, The Handmaid's Tale is such bullshit, and it's done some serious damage to people's psychology.
Oh,
and
God.
I swear Margaret Atwood just did that whole book as a goddamn troll.
I don't think she did.
She read Jacob. That's the story of Jacob, and she saw a female without seeing, like, how many times is that man raped, extorted to have sex, or prostituted by his wives? Like, you can't read that and read like female sexual subjugation without... How do you do that and not even see how much she was taken advantage of and abused?
I mean, if your whole ideology is based on the idea that women are always victims and men are always perpetrators, yes,
of course,
you will completely ignore the truth about that story.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a troll.
No, she believes it.
She genuinely believes it.
Yeah, you have to. Right? You have to accept that there are people that are either dumb enough or evil enough to just believe the absolute worst things and then present that as fact because they are true believers. This is a cult. We are dealing with a cult. So they're not going to hear like
speaking of dealing with a cult,
logic, but yes.
This movie, if people are asking men to declare adherence to this movie, it's like Caligula asking like the generals of foreign armies to bow to his damn horse.
Yeah.
It's just a demoralization exercise.
It's true. I think I'm curious. So like the first weekend, the film did really well. But I think the reason, or I'm hoping, but I don't know. I don't know if I have this much faith in women as a group, but I'm hoping the reason is because they were tricked into thinking they were going to watch something like a parody, like the Very Brady movie or something, right? Where you go, and you're like, oh, I remember this thing, I'm nostalgic, and it's going to be poking fun at it the whole time. And there's a little bit of that, just enough to get you, like, kind of hooked. Like Lindsay says, it's good for, like, the first 45 seconds, or what, after the initial abortion, allegory happens, and we start the movie in Barbie Land, but then goes and does what it wanted to do in the first place, and it's just wearing this pink dress as like its skin. You know, it's the skin suit thing, and it's and it's basically saying, "Hey, remember this doll? What about patriarchy? Let's talk about that for 2 hours." And then it ends, and so like I'm like, okay, well, in a sane world, people will be angry about that twist, and they'll tell their friends and be like, "Look, this is not what you think it is. It's not about what you think it is, and you should not give it any money." But the end of the second weekend is going to tell us whether or not women will buy into this crap, and whether or not men will buy into this crap. But it's going to be mostly low information, like not at all critical thinking women that are going to go watch this with their daughters, who are just going to agree with whatever mommy tells them, and that's what's going to happen. So it's kind of banking on them, but it is going to say a lot about what women think about men when this weekend ends.
Well, I think they did just. I actually just heard on the radio today in the car that they made altogether so far like what, $500 million or something.
Okay, so $500 million.
Yep. I'm prepared to see more of this, and worse, because it always gets worse. And it's at this point.
Well, the problem is once you pay for your ticket, whether you like the movie or not, you paid for it. So I mean, it is still. It's not the end of the second week yet. Word maybe hasn't gotten around. I don't know.
But
we'll
you know, it's I mean, it is sort of a depressing thought, isn't it? That this reflects the average view of the average woman.
If it,
But also, I was thinking while you were describing this that, you know, the Barbies are basically the projections of the people playing with them. What if there was a final scene where it was an unattractive femcel with her Barbies playing out this whole scenario?
Well, yeah, but again, that would require too much forethought and giving a shit about the logic of the film. Although, technically, if it's Barbie Land, I think that it's every girl that owns, or every person, mostly probably girls, that owns a Barbie playing with the doll, and that doll's life being played out in this land. So it's like all girls, right? So unless they're all lesbian femcells, because that's the only way this works out. And I think that's what Greta Gerwig wants reality to be. She wants girls to like not be with men. I mean, the Ken doll was made to be Barbie's mate, made for that. I mean, it's not for boys. It's not a toy for boys. It's a toy for girls to play. Yeah. This is your boyfriend. They don't say it explicitly, but it's implied, especially when there was like a wedding Barbie and Ken that were like getting married, right? So, but of course, Greta Gerwig is anti-natalist. Say, she hates babies, she hates family, so she hates relationships.
Yeah, well, and there is a scene in there, if I recall, where, he's like, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" And she's like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Oh, yeah, it was something like going, like, "Can I stay at your place?" or whatever. And she was like, "What is?" And then we'll do what? And he's like, "I don't know." But I think that's because, again, Ken is stupid. See, he wants to be with Barbie. He doesn't know why, and that's why by the end, when he's like, well, she's like, "You don't need me," and he's like, "I guess I don't." And then he like goes, and we're all supposed to think, "Oh yeah, that's what men should do." That's what they want. That's what they want. The truth is, men want to be with women, and women want to be with men. And we should not create obstacles for that. What was that?
Yeah, we're having a population crisis. This is definitely the thing we need.
Yeah, like our population is imploding, and people like Greta Gerwig are pushing men and women further apart and saying, "Oh no, you'll be fine." And of course, she's also suggesting that the men, they should just do gay shit with other men, because that's going to be good for society. That that's going to make babies somehow spontaneously. I mean, like.
Okay, but they'll hire surrogates, and those women will get paid.
I suppose.
Yes, and then.
Wait.
That seems like a really weird, long way of just pairing up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like pairing up with extra steps. So.
Yeah. Well, who knows what it's going to end up being? I'm just I'm here for the confusing mixed messaging and forcing people to agree with something that makes no sense. Bow to my horse. It's my general. It's the general of my troops. You must bow to him. God damn.
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
All right.
we are moving in the era of Caligula. So.
I got a super chat. Thank you, Jareted Dotio. Jareted Dotio. I hope that's pronounced correctly. Maybe these gives us $5 and says maybe these women keep having bad relationships because they keep manufacturing bogus, frivolous deal breakers like this and setting it up to fail. I do think that there are a lot of women that actually like they self-sabotage all the time because they're terrified of actually like succeeding at something, and then they blame everybody else. Or the patriarchy, which is the same thing.
You want a name for this phenomenon? We call it the Elaine Bennis.
Really?
Yeah, the Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld.
Oh, is that her last name? I didn't know that. I know Elaine,
she famously she had, he's so good looking and he's so smart and he's so entertaining and he's so funny, and he's got money and all of this stuff, but every time he takes a sip of anything he goes,
oh yeah, he does the I did that and a girl got mad at me about it because I just drink coffee, and the first sip of coffee, if you don't like in the morning,
it's heavenly.
Yeah, it's heavenly. It is, and I was like, oh.
You go and
she'd be like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "What's?" She stopped taking birth control pills, and
it wasn't just
wasn't that really dark?
It wasn't just the
It's
it's okay. No, but it was the
that part, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
the tongue smack followed by the
Yeah, I was dating this girl, Allison. When I started dating her, she was on birth control. And then we were getting kind of serious, and so she got off of birth control. When she got off of birth control, about a month or so, less than that maybe, everything I did annoyed the shit out of her. And then we broke up.
Yeah, because you smelled bad.
Yeah, so the birth control thing, it's anecdotal, but for me, that's evidence. Like, when I started dating Lindsay, she had never taken it. She never took it. She was like, I don't mess with my hormones. And I was like, good, because now I know that, like, you're not being, like, sort of, hormonally manipulated into liking me. I wouldn't like that. So
there's not only statistical evidence demonstrating this, but they actually have a pathway, a biological pathway that explains it.
Yeah.
Right.
So ladies, get off the pill.
This is not just a proven phenomenon, it's an explained phenomenon.
Yeah.
And any woman who gets married while she's on the pill needs to have her head examined.
Yep.
Because she's going to go off the pill when you guys decide to have babies, and then she not all the time, but
there's a good chance.
There's a significant chance that she won't be able to stand the way he smells, and that's actually a sign that he's not a good genetic match for you, and your kid is gonna have all kinds of problems.
Yeah, like what's happening already.
Like autism,
the divorce rate, the divorce rate, and all the other problems that came with after the birth control
allergies and asthma, because this pathway is linked to the immune system, autoimmune conditions, right? You know, so you definitely want to make sure you've been off the pill for at least 2 to 3 months before you actually sign on the dotted line and decide to have a baby with someone.
Okay, so let's get into this article.
All right.
I do have some thank yous, but we can wait till we get it further.
You might as well just do those now because.
All right, I'll do the thank yous.
Do it.
Sorry, guys. I was okay. So I want to thank Mr. B. I won't say any more for $25. Thank you, Mr. B.
All right, hold on. I got something for that. Okay.
And I would also like to thank Meredith G for $100. Thank you to Meredith G.
Oh, thank you, Meredith G.
I'm really rich.
uh, okay, and just so you guys know, we have now 1,935 left to go, and we have got 2 days left. So let's get that done. I suppose I could do some arm twisting at the hour. But let's or maybe a little past it, and but let's get back to the article.
All right, back to the article.
We're one paragraph in.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so NBC News said women around the world and across social... I already read that part. Nicole Hofler, a 32-year-old from Cologne, Germany, calls it the Barbie test, the news network said. It's like the new question on a first date or your dating profile. What are your thoughts on the Barbie movie? She noted to NBC News. Because if a guy really doesn't want to see it, or he's not open to talking about it, or what's even worse yet, if he's seen it and he thinks it's not a good movie, or he doesn't get the point, I think it's kind of a no-go. Well, it's a shit movie. Like, even if you take all the garbage feminist talking points out of it and just look at it for what it is as a piece of art, an attempt was made. It is shit, though, just as a film. But the all of the woke politics on top of that, they only, like, it's like, well, you know, I watched Jurassic Park the other day to cleanse the palate. The original Jurassic Park.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, I actually, it's a pro-fatherhood and pro-family film that you wouldn't have, because if you watch it now, you're going to see that. You're going to be like, man, they don't make movies like this anymore. And I'm reminded of the scene where they are in the tour, you know, like Jeeps or whatever. And they have to stop because there's a Triceratops that's sick. And they go to the Triceratops, and the woman is like, I need to see his droppings. And Jeff Goldblum's character is like, droppings? Droppings? And then they go to it, and he's like, that is one big pile of shit. That's what this movie is. It is that with more of that on top. Okay? It is one big pile of shit. So anyway, so if a guy doesn't like it, I guess you dump him. I mean, that good for the guy. I mean, like, you don't want to be anywhere near like a woman that likes that movie.
We dodged a bullet there. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that so you're just supposed to gormlessly like everything about this movie.
Apparently,
it's very shallow because once you just scrape the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who in Hollywood is still looking at these movies and saying, well, I mean, who knows? Because this made so much money. Like, so maybe I have absolutely nothing to say about storytelling.
Well, there is a class action lawsuit.
Okay. There is?
Yes.
Of what? On what?
False advertising.
There is?
Yes.
Oh, well, shit, sign me up. I mean, I didn't pay for it.
Because the trailer led people to believe that the movie would be a fun
family movie?
Family movie that was kind of, maybe it would get as edgy as Shrek. Right? With some kind of inside adult jokes for parents.
That would go over the kids' heads. Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't have to explain to their kids. Yeah, and that wasn't what it was. And so basically, the people who are being sued are the movie studio, the writer and director, the two stars, right, who came out and said, oh, no, this is a wholesome family film. Right, because there was a rumor that came out before it was released, right, that this is actually some kind of weird political film, right, and it's maybe not suitable for kids. And the stars of the movie, and the director, and the producer, and the writer came out and went, no, nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
It's a delightful film that's suitable for the entire family, and all of your children will really enjoy it. All of your little girls will love it to death. And so there's actually a class action suit because a lot of people took their daughters to see this film and were horrified by it.
Yeah, they should be.
Based on the trailer that was misleading, and then based on the public statements of the people involved who were like, yeah, no, it's political. What do you want to know?
Yep.
Well, of course they don't think they're political. They think they're describing reality. Okay, but ultimately, like, I don't know who deals with this kind of this deep, like, theme layer writing, but once you scratch the surface of this movie, it doesn't make any sense. The world building, and I know everybody's like, oh, we just have to talk about the surface level of what the intent, but if you're going to ask people to pledge their adherence to the Barbie nation, you should realize that this movie thematically is baffling.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any damn sense. First of all, the main character has no agency at all. And she doesn't, and not only does she not have agency, she has no moral agency. There's at no point do you get a sense that there's something that she has, some flaw that's hurting other people that she has to overcome. Until she apologizes at the end to Ken, which reads more like, oh, the villain has broken down, so I'm going to make him feel better, than a genuine remorse over her own behavior. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no real character arc. So what do you think you're doing? What do you think you're writing for women? You're not even writing a female character.
But the issue is they marketed it to girls.
Yeah, I know that but when I'm talking about in the context of these women making their male partners pledge allegiance to this crap. So what are you making him pledge? Like, he can't have an opinion about the fact that the female character had no goddamn agency? She didn't really do anything. She just sort of floated from scene to scene to scene. And then the other thing, when you scratch the surface of the world building, which incidentally, it really needed a good scrub with somebody who has some competent skills in world building. Because when you scratch the surface, you realize that Barbie Land is essentially a enclosed space built, funded, constructed, maintained by the Mattel Corporation, which is presented as a patriarchy. Mm-hmm. So in other words, Barbie Land is a harem.
Yep.
And so a man can't be like, I really am not comfortable with a female.
It even has eunuchs there. The Kens and the eunuchs.
Yeah, it even has Kens. I'm not really comfortable with a female character that's presented as having absolutely no moral agency because, as a man, I am affected by the moral choices of the women in my life.
Oh, and don't they bully pregnant women?
Yeah, something about how the
make fun of them. Oh,
there's
you're
a
so
pregnant
bad.
doll. There's a pregnant. Oh yeah, sure. Can I just? Oh, go ahead, Alison. I thought you were done.
Well, no, and there's that question that comes on the level of world building, but they don't care because they don't carefully consider the real messages that they're sending. And so it's a harem constructed and maintained by men. And we can't question that. And we can't question the entitlement of the women in the harem because they only exist within a harem. And then the other thing is that the books that Karen picked up, and I looked at this very carefully, I looked through that scene like multiple times. The books that Ken picked up are on the origins of patriarchy by a feminist, something about horses, men in war, and I think the fourth one was why men dominate literature. I'm not sure how he's going to construct a patriarchy from all that, since the only thing that's really about constructing patriarchy is written by a feminist. So when he goes through and he interacts with incidentally, how the hell did he find those on patriarchy or the origins of patriarchy by a feminist in the library of a high school? That's stuff that you would find in a college library, but whatever. Fine. I won't pick too much on that. He found that book, and he goes out and discovers that the world around him is not at all as described by the woman in that book. Woo!
Yeah.
And that just got past whoever was supposed to be checking the continuity of this shit, right? Nobody took this to the feminist creator and said, are you sure that's what you want to be saying? That feminist theory doesn't describe the world. Oh, okay, all right, that is what you want to be saying. And I mean, even a feminist man can't say, hey, wait, what about that? That seems like a bit of an inconsistency. No, it's just blanket 2 + 2 = 5 because I said so. This isn't about logical consistency. This isn't about morality or ethics. This isn't about even a sensible statement. This is just, it's so because you listen to me. You are Ken. Like, It's just, again, anyways, I'll get off my soapbox with that.
Okay. I just want to put my thoughts on what this is. I think that what's happening here is, well, first of all, we already made clear that Greta Gerwig isn't interested in logical consistency, and probably nobody was like brave enough to criticize what she was doing, and she probably didn't want anyone to go through it and make sure everything made sense. Whoever wrote, I don't think it was just her that wrote this, but the people involved, they were probably like, we're certain about this. And I think that if you asked her, like, why would Ken take back these books on patriarchy, which are written by feminists, to this world to turn it into a patriarchy, she would say because the feminists that wrote those books are right. And that's why it works. Because that's what would happen, right? So it's almost like she's, feeding back into her own logic. But onto like this phenomenon of the women on social media thing. Here's what I think might be going on. I think that I'm gonna generalize. I'm gonna generalize women right now. So hold on to your butts, to quote Jurassic Park again. I think that what's happening is women are using social media to create social pressure for other women to fall in line and just like the movie because all the other women like it too. And if they don't want to be a traitor to their own gender, they have to fall in line. And so it's not because it's good, because it isn't. But everyone is supposed to pretend that it is. And that because all of the other women on TikTok and Twitter and wherever are saying that it is, so it's like they're just doing the Mean Girls thing on a global scale, and they're saying these women, that this woman in Germany or whatever is like, well, ladies, this is for us. You have to like it. It doesn't matter what you really think because I've decided that it's good. I've decided that it's saying something important. I've decided that, it speaks to me. So that means it speaks for all of us because as always, feminists speak for all women. And therefore, if they like something, even if they don't really like it and they're pretending, all the other women have to go along with it because when women decide that something is good, right, or some women, then there is pressure for all other women because they're more agreeable to simply say, okay, yes, it's good because all of my friends said so. And I think it's not about measuring it in an objective way or looking at it in the way that, say, men do. It's like, unless, of course, you're a culture junkie that just likes whatever your brand puts out. But if you set that aside, because I don't think this is about the brand, because the brand is just it's just the window dressing for the ideology.
Well, the parents taking their kids to see it, that's about the brand.
Yeah, but again, like, how many of those women that took their daughters to see the film are single moms? How many of those women don't have a man in their life? How prevalent is single motherhood today? How many women are don't have a husband or have divorced their husbands or were taking birth control and then married a guy and then had a daughter and then divorced him because she got off of birth control? How many?
What?
I mean,
Well, what I'm saying is that like there is meat in this lawsuit, right?
I mean, I hope so. I'm
proposed class action lawsuit.
Yeah,
but because there were actually traditional families, right? Like Christian families, very devout, go to church every Sunday families.
Mm-hmm.
Who took their daughters to see this because they were duped into it and were horrified by that opening scene, of the monolith Barbie and the symbolic of mass abortion.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no. You have a situation where somebody made a movie, right? And they said it was about one thing in all of the lead up to it. It turns out that it was about another thing, and that another thing makes no fucking sense on any level whatsoever. I mean, I don't care. I'm not wondering why Ken was able to find that book in a high school library.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why somebody as dumb and incompetent as Ken, right, could manage to stage a fucking coup in a day and take
that's
over.
The power of patriarchy.
If he's that incompetent, if men are that incompetent, that's self-absorbed. That, like, just...
Well, that's how they took power back.
No, but obsessed by pleasure and... Oh, yeah, no, and then the entire film is resolved by we return all of the power back to the Barbies, right? Because you know what? Barbie land is civilized, and Ken land is a nightmare scape.
The Kendom,
right? Yeah, no, and it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's the same old fucking claim. If women were in charge, there wouldn't be any war. There wouldn't be any poverty. There wouldn't be any crime. There wouldn't be any this. There wouldn't be any depravity. There wouldn't be any immorality. Everybody would be civilized and nice to each other if women were in charge.
Every woman is the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, no, okay, and fine, okay.
No, I'm not saying that literally.
That's how the suffragettes convinced women to collectively go along with women's suffrage. Because they were like, no, women were largely, they had a lot of objections.
I think women largely objected to the end, and then they were just like, okay, I guess this is a thing now.
Well, no, women objected on multiple grounds, okay? Where women were caught was in the area of their vanity. It was in their vulnerable spot. The spot that could be exploited. The spot where they believed, because they had been convinced, that they had a unique and superior morality. And they...
Pride cometh before fall.
And only they could clean up partisan politics and civilize the political system, the political apparatus, right? It would only be by their superior moral character that politics could be uncorrupted.
The angel,
or decorrupted, right? And they were like, okay, yeah, no, I'll buy that. Okay, that's the ticket. I'll buy that. And then they went for the vote. And where are we now? Where the fuck are we now?
Almost a century later, everything is victim politics. And
no. A century later, we're from like tens of thousands of dollars in federal debt to 33 trillion. Okay?
And
our federal government is 100 times as big as it was before women's suffrage. 100 times as many employees, 100 times as big a share of the GDP, right? As before women's suffrage.
The labor
of your great-grandchildren. Yes, and okay, and so all of that, and it's corrupt. We got the Patriot Act. We got the FBI basically telling Hunter Biden's judge, oh yes, there is an investigation still open. Not because there is, but because they can't say no. Because if they say no, then the FBI has to actually answer questions in front of Congress. They can't just use the whole, I'm sorry, I can't comment on an open investigation or a pending prosecution, right? Okay,
right,
so they're just corrupt as fuck, okay?
Yeah.
And we are now essentially led by a fourth branch of government not authorized by the Constitution. There is no provision in the Constitution that says a bunch of unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats get to decide instead of the voters, instead of the people that the voters elected, right? This is like, and where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, yeah, no. Forgive all the student debt. Oh, it's unconstitutional? Oh, well, we can forgive a whole bunch of it before that appeal goes up.
We can forgive the student debt if all of those women go and have children. Like, here's the fucking thing. It's like the feminists are like, okay, we're writing a gigantic check, but who's going to be paying for it? Oh, our children, but you're not going to have children. Oh, no, we'll just, it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah, we'll just import people from poor countries
who
and
also won't have children.
And deprive them of like the human capital that they need to actually raise themselves out of freaking poverty.
It's like the West is absolutely 100% siphoning the wealth of the world. No offense, guys, siphoning the wealth of the world. Now it's siphoning the people that will prevent the demographic collapse in the third world as a resource into our economies. Because Western women, wealthy Western women, want to live in a dream world of meaningless jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And Cadillacs.
Yeah,
perfectly represented by Barbie Land.
And they also, you know, they don't care that like 5-year-olds are mining cobalt in their bare feet with their bare hands in freaking the Congo. They don't give a shit about that, right? You know, the cobalt that gives them their cell phones and their electric cars and their Alexas and their all of those other things, right? Their modern conveniences. They don't give a shit about that, right? No, honey. We need to redo the kitchen. It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Not even honey anymore. It's government.
Yeah.
But that's the funny thing. Like the Mattel Corporation, like this is what I'm seeing with the Barbie movie.
But and then they blame men for the fact that child slaves are working
exploitation.
Are mining cobalt so that these women can have. Yeah.
Men are blamed for the cobalt mining, for the environmental degradation, for all of that. Actually, the only moment in this movie that was even slightly honest was the girl that said, "You are a symbol of consumerism." Well, she is. Like Barbie Land is a state harem, serviced by corporations, and all of the like the pink, the vanity job and the pink Cadillac and the condo in the sky. That, you know, feminism will say we'll take credit for that, but the children dying of cobalt poisoning in the middle of Africa, that's patriarchy. Really? Because I think that the world would be a hell of a lot better off if tomorrow Western women said, you know, I could probably have a good living with 4 acres and a mule and a sod hut.
Or raise
children.
Or even if they just said, you know what? My phone's good enough.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we could be a little bit more modest. My phone's good enough. My car is good enough. Maybe I could learn some car maintenance, keep that thing alive, so you don't have to buy a completely new one. I don't need a condo in New York. A small house in a place where I can have a garden will work just fine for me. If Western women scaled down their consumerism and stopped asking for Barbie Land,
and I don't need to change
a sigh of relief.
I don't need to change my entire wardrobe once a year either.
Who the hell can afford that?
Men don't do that. No, women do, right? Men don't do that because men's clothes are more expensive. Men's clothes are more expensive because, number one,
they're made to last.
And number two, they can charge more because men don't buy them as often. right? Men aren't suckers, right?
Mhm.
And well, certain men aren't suckers. There are men out there who are clothes horses, but men are less likely to be that way. They're less likely to frivolously spend money on clothes. And it's like on new clothes all the time, have a new shirt every time you go out, blah, 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 right? And so it's like, I once heard a rumor that Sylvester Stallone never wore a pair of underwear more than once. Every pair of underwear he ever wore, he threw away after he took it off. Yeah. And I was like, why would you do that? And then I thought,
maybe he's neurotic.
Does he know that clothes are basically impregnated with formaldehyde and other chemicals to keep them from going moldy if they get damp in transit or in a warehouse? And so basically you're soaking, if you just take underwear out of the package and put it on, and you do that every day, you're just soaking your genitals. You're soaking your boys in formaldehyde.
Did any of you think that we would be here talking about Sylvester Stallone?
I don't know if that's true, because
habit?
Stallone has like 5 beautiful daughters, so I think his testicles are
maybe
in
that's
good
why.
shape.
Maybe his testicles are in good shape because he continuously rotates his underwear. Okay, back to the article.
Maybe his testicles are in good shape.
Just start reading, Brian. Just start reading.
In good shape because they had to survive. They had to do what they had to, and they became tough.
All right, I got
resilient.
I got a super chow from Zeranx. Thank you, Zeranx. And Zeranx gives us $5 and says, we're playing around with surrogates as in the 2009 movie and the artificial womb too much. All I can say is this is how clueless humanity must be. Whether progressive or conservative, no one is future thinking. Ironically, that goes for the lefty creative types that cyberpunk stories like Johnny Mnemonic and Cyberpunk 2077, who criticize where we're going while not caring about analyzing how we got there or here as we're actually facing synthetic meat, tech, human fusion, etc. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little unfair to say that conservatives are clueless about that, because that's the only places where I see people talking about this stuff. The transhumanism, the technocracy, the cloning stuff, the problems with like, what is it, artificial wombs. I mean, they're talking about it, so, you know, they may still be behind in other ways, but I don't think it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
So-
but what I think is, you know, like leftists, because I don't think it was a conservative who made Johnny Mnemonic. It was
No, that's what he's saying. I think it was. Yeah.
It's leftists.
The cyberpunk thing is, they're all about that.
Okay, but all right, can I just get in here? All right. Well, one of the reasons why is because conservatives conserve, so they're looking at maintaining the status quo, and in many cases don't want to adapt to new technologies, in my opinion. Okay?
Yeah, sure. And a lot of them are preppers, too.
There's a huge resistance. Maybe it's breaking down as a result of this unbelievable level of misandrous, not just misandrous, but just confusingly anti-man messaging that they don't want to address the fact that you cannot blame men anymore. At some point, women need to take responsibility. And this is the hardest thing for any society to do. I recently have encountered a whole bunch, because of the questions about demographic collapse, a bunch of fear mongering about ending up in the Handmaid's Tale. There has been no society in history that has had a womb draft.
Yeah,
None.
no, and
the most you can say is they incentivized women giving birth. They incentivized
paid women to have kids. Yeah,
never in history. That includes every single society that you would think would be a horrible patriarchy, which really isn't when you actually look at it, like Rome and Greece. Like, no, it never happened. Yet drafts are very common. Drafts of men to war are very common. So it's like, no, that's never going to happen. The Handmaid's Tale is not going to happen. And yet, what I'm seeing is that there's this insistence on saying women are going to be victims of this because the government's going to do horrible things to them. How are men to blame? Why aren't men wifing women up? And
yeah, I know. It's like, well, see, the wives have to actually agree to it.
They have to agree to it. They have to desire men, and you can't keep pumping like the situation.
Anti-male propaganda into women and have them want to marry men.
It's just like why do you think women aren't interested in the average man? Because you've created I was really thinking about this. You've created the anti-mystique around men. You've allowed the messaging around men to be dominated by a bunch of lesbian separatists who hate men. Like you've handed that over, and what have they done? They've constructed a gigantic anti-male advertising campaign through governments, through charities, and I mean, Christians get on the boat too. They seem to have this thing about hating men as well, and not all of them, but there are some the groups that you present some women as victims of men supposedly, and they're all on board. Like that perfectly makes sense right out of the package. No more further explanation required.
Your Honor, we rest our case. You haven't actually said anything yet. Oh no, but the jury has decided.
Yes, and so we have this situation. We got this massive anti-male campaign, and the funny thing is that the way that feminists present masculinity, men can't partake in the mystique because we don't recognize the unique sacrifices by men throughout history in our infrastructure projects, in our wars. Our infrastructure projects are huge. It's maybe even bigger than our wars. A lot of the train tracks wouldn't have been laid. A lot of the tunnels wouldn't have been made. A lot of the skyscrapers wouldn't have been built if we hadn't had men willing to take risks, willing to watch their brothers die taking those risks and continue to do so. And we don't present that as uniquely masculine. So the average man can't share in the mystique of that. Even if he doesn't pick up a riveter and go 70 stories high and build a skyscraper. You see what I'm saying? When you say masculinity,
every time you say the brave women and men who gave their lives.
Yes. You deny the fact
that 95% or more of those people were men.
Yeah, and 98% when it comes to death and war. Okay? Yeah. So and for the most part, a lot of the female deaths in workplaces aren't due to unsafe working conditions. They're due to criminal action, which is unfortunate, but it's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. The idea that men are drawn to jobs, or at least willing to take them, with high risk potential is an aspect of masculinity. It is a critical aspect of masculinity. When you deny that, you deny the average man's ability to take part in that mystique. And I talk about that, but it's like that idea that he shares these positive values with these masculine figures. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's one of the big differences between a place like Rome and what came before it. What came before it, the guys who were the great generals, maybe the troops under them shared with that mystique. In Rome, all men who were Roman shared in that mystique. And it goes through this collective identity of men. This is masculinity. Your podunk accountant husband also has that in him.
Yep.
And you might actually see that if you ever get shot in the horrible situation where that happens. Or he might end up fleeing, if he panics too, and that shouldn't be held against him, of course. But you're far more likely to see that if you're with a man than if you're with another woman.
Well, does anybody remember the Dark Knight shooting?
Of course I do.
Yeah, and so there were 3 men who leapt on top of and used their bodies as shields to protect women and children. And there was one man who left his girlfriend and his stepchild right? His fiance and his stepchild, and just ran. And who got the most coverage?
Of course. And the honest to God truth is he probably just panicked.
Yeah.
And I mean, and maybe he didn't even know where they were in the panic.
Who the hell knows? But she, to her credit, she stuck by him and she defended him on TV. She sat next to him and defended him on TV and said, "No, I'm still marrying him because I know he loves us," and all of that, right? And it's just like, but it was just brutal, the treatment that he got in the media because he ran. He did not give his life for them. They didn't die, right? But he should have.
But my point is that men have a greater tolerance of risk taking. Okay?
Yeah.
They have a greater desire to pursue merit. And these are really positive qualities. When we don't recognize them as uniquely masculine, we don't recognize that men have a little portion, get to share a little bit in the triumphs of the heroes of the past. You know, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they can just sit on their laurels and just not achieve. I mean, they still have to achieve to have personal recognition, but that overall recognition functions as a way of selling women on actually having a man.
Yeah,
okay?
And selling men on actually doing that.
Yeah, and actually becoming or actually pursuing or even just feeling better about themselves. And when I say risk taking, I don't just mean diving off a cliff. I mean making a new song and writing a novel, creating a poem, you know, creating a new joke, building some weird snow sculpture so kids can enjoy it. Like all of that is stuff that I've seen men do.
Yeah.
And because we can't recognize it as a positive effect of masculinity, we aren't developing this kind, like I call it a mystique, this kind of desirability of manhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all we're doing is constructing the anti-desirability because we hand all of this shit over to, again, lesbian, separatist feminists who hate men. And then the conservatives say, well, why can't men wife up these women? Because you're asking them to carry too damn much. And this is another thing you're asking them to carry too damn much of. This stupid movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know. Okay, go ahead.
You're basically asking them to like do what's expected of you for zero recognition. It's the least you could do for nothing in return.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's extremely difficult for the average man to overcome the negative messaging about men to make women attractive, like to attract women to him, is what I'm getting left as well.
Oh, yeah, no. And I told this to frickin', what's his name, Michael Kimmel. Right? You throw the term toxic masculinity around like confetti, like it's just harmless. And it's like, if you're saying to me that, oh, well, you just don't understand what it means, you should take a women's studies program. Then you'd understand it, right? Do 9-year-old boys take women's studies programs? Have they graduated from those so they can understand this term that's being thrown around in their presence? Right? Like, no, they just see the word toxic and the word masculinity side by side, and they probably hear their mother going, your daddy ain't shit. And then they probably are on the playground and it's like, yo mama this, yo mama that. Well, that's fisticuffs. Oh, yo daddy's shit. Oh, you know my daddy? I stole that joke from Tommy Sotomayor. It's you have this constant barrage of demoralizing messaging that starts very early on, and that these young men, boys and young men, they're bombarded with it, and it's just like, well, if I have the name, I might as well have the game.
So, I got Super Chows, and we'll move on. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. Plain Dane. Thank you, Plain Dane. Gives us $5 and says the fact that he has 5 daughters is actually evidence of poor sperm quality. It's more difficult for us to produce male sperm. That's why many athletes that abuse PEDs have daughters. It's well known within the PED community that steroids damage the endocrine and reproductive system. Female sperm is more resilient than male sperm. Female sperm is more resilient to oxidative stress. That's probably because it's a lot older than male sperm. Having multiple sons is a good sign of sperm quality because it's more difficult for our bodies to produce male sperm.
Oh, well, that makes sense. There is a thing about, if you want to try and manipulate the sex of your child after you have sex, if you're trying to have a child, you have sex 3 days before you're due to ovulate, and then the sperm that survive will be female. So if you want a girl, you'll have sex 3 days before you ovulate. If you have sex the day before you ovulate, you're more likely to have a boy. Not much more likely, because female sperm survive longer, male sperm swim faster.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get some more of this.
So I got more to read. So I got a Rumble rant. Yeah, I got a Rumble rant from Oikinwoi, whatever. I can never pronounce it. I don't care. Gives us $1 and says, I bet Stallone has an under-the-table side business to sell his underwear to desperate women. That I believe. I believe that. Because he probably makes thousands. Derek Workman gives
But they all smell like formaldehyde.
Yeah, but he can say, I wore this one on the set of Rambo 2, and I wore this one on Rocky 3, or whatever. Derek Workman gives us $10 and says, yeah, and they think that a Barbie astronaut isn't going to die with a bomb strapped to her backside using 2 + 2 = 5 math. Don't worry, it's Ken's fault somehow. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. Okay, Allison, go ahead.
All right.
Your thank yous.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Wow.
I'm going to reduce this name down to C Splotch. Splotch. Hopefully that is nowhere near your legal name. Gives us $50. Thank you, C Splotch.
Thank you, C Splotch.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, C Splotch. Math Freak 123 HBR. Again, hope that's not your legal name. Gives us $100. I think if it was, he would have told me by now.
Thank you.
All right, so we are at 1,775 left.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're getting there. I mean, we're actually we're doing pretty well, and I do appreciate guys getting it in early so we don't have a heart attack on the last day. So it's good that we're moving along. So thank you. And if you would like to join our very generous supporters, once again, it's at feedthebadger.com/support. You can make sure that we can continue to bring you this delightful content that is always on topic.
Mm-hmm.
And on time.
Yeah.
On time, on topic.
On time, on topic. Straight to
on
the point.
top of the world.
Okay.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Next. She added to the news network she didn't expect her boyfriend to want to see Barbie until he asked to join her, even donning a baby pink shirt to match her pink dress for the occasion. Wow, that sounds like something you're doing out of fear. You know that there are men that went to see this movie because they were, like I was saying before, women create social pressure around a kind of phenomenon in the culture, and they basically expect women to go along with it, and they expect their men to also go along with it. And I think that's what this is a good example of that. That's what feminists are. They are the ultimate mean girls. And And even the boys that are feminists are mean girls, right? So, for
Okay,
example,
listen.
yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I'm interrupting you, Brian, and I shouldn't. I apologize.
Well, I was just going to give the example of the post I shared last time we did a show. I think it was yesterday or no, I don't know, Friday. I don't know, whatever. We did a fundraiser, right? And there was this guy that posted like a picture of himself in the theater in front of the Barbie poster making a false cry face. Like, oh my God, it was so misandrous. And he was basically just like, you know,
I did a tweet on that.
yeah, over exaggerating like the whole OMG, as a man, I don't know how I survived, and basically like anybody who complained, nobody lost sleep over this, by the way, nobody. But they do know that this message is extremely hateful, and it's being put into a film for children. No, this might as well be Birth of a Nation, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? But
the same plot. So.
Yeah, it's Birth of a Nation for women, for feminists. That's all it is. So,
really,
and I mean, like, if you just point that out, it's, you know, again, I'm not butthurt. Like, I had to watch it a couple times because this is my job. I have to watch trash. I watched Felt. You know, I watched you know, other feminist films. Yeah, I saw Felt. I saw Midsummer. I saw The Witch. I saw a bunch of things. You know, some of them because they were feminist movies, or I heard they were, and some of them were because they were sort of the opposite. You know, I had to have a palate cleanser, so I'd watch Tombstone, or I would watch Last of the Mohicans, or I would watch the Jurassic Park, which I thought it was just going to be a popcorn film, and then by the end I was like, wow, that was actually quite pro-father and pro-family. What a crazy idea. So, anyway, Count of Monte Cristo. It's another good one. Jim Caviezel, I like him in everything. You really want to trigger them, put on Passion of the Christ, they'll fucking lose their shit. But anyway.
Yeah, if you want to know what I said, that particular thing.
Yeah.
I basically said that, you know, I pretended I was using his voice, as you do in Twitter.
Yeah.
And I said, men, you know, being a victim of stories and stereotyping is a women's thing. Us men are better than that.
Yeah.
Us men, you know, we aren't like the women's. And then I compared him to and I said, why is it that male feminists always, their contribution to everything is to proclaim themselves the biggest elephant seal on the beach?
Yeah, the biggest dick in the room. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and I just compared his expression to an elephant seal, and it was pretty good, I thought. Nobody understood it, but I liked it, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
I'll show you that. I'll show you the image I created, because I stored it, and but it'll take a bit, so we might want to. Yeah, that was it. That was the. Yeah. And that he's basically just mocking other men for potentially having a concern with the messaging in this film, because
exactly,
like messages in films only hurt women, because
of course,
because you know, men are stronger than that.
Tut tut, little lady.
Tut tut, yeah.
There.
But I mean, that's essentially what this is. This has basically been
there, little lady.
Men.
There, little lady. Shh.
Yeah, men man up. Men,
don't speak. Don't
be
speak.
wuss.
Okay, Missy. Are you getting uppity? I told you to shh.
You better lay some thematic implications on me, Karen, if you want to shut me up.
Well,
you know, you gotta lay the thematic implications of the Genesis.
Well, little lady, if you don't stop talking and fussing, people might think you're uppity, and you wouldn't want that.
Yep.
I have no idea where we are now.
Sean Connery.
Well,
let me show you the back of my hand.
I'll give you the back of me hand.
Okay, go to the next part of the article. I read ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. So, Hofler and other women who spoke to NBC News said watching the movie for them felt like seeing their everyday experiences showcased on the big screen. Hofler
my
added to
God.
the news network that she felt, quote, lucky to have a partner who actively wanted to discuss the impacts of patriarchy after watching the flick. What?
Okay, can we unpack that?
Yeah.
Their everyday
It's
experiences
literally
with
my life.
Yeah,
My life writ large on the screen. Every single day I face a hostile coup. A hostile coup against my leadership in my relationships from some patriarchal fuckwad. But
fuck boy.
But
Fuck
even
boy. The
though
nomenclature is fuck boy.
fuck boy. But even though he's so dastardly and so villainous and so clever, he's actually an idiot. And he took over my entire life, even though he's
You know how they
stupid.
defeated the Kens?
And then I defeated him by how?
Making him man by appealing to men's desire to take care of them. And
then I defeated him by saying I needed the fence painted, and I wanted a frog pond in the backyard. And I wanted it to look like this page from Home and Garden magazine.
And then he went and did that. And then I took over the government behind his back. Oh.
And then he went and did that. And I went and took over the government. And I drained all his bank accounts. And I spent all the kids' college funds on frogs for the pond. And then I blamed him for building me the frog pond I wanted. Because he's the man! He's the man and he knows better than to do that!
And I am. You're just a woman with a small brain. With a brain a third the size of us.
Damn
It's
you,
science.
patriarchy! Damn you!
Damn you and your patriarchal frog pods! Which are also racist, white supremacist symbols. Okay.
Well, only white people can have frog ponds, you know.
Are we still unpacking?
I yes.
Oh, no, I think I'm having a heart attack, so...
This was this was excavating something. And no, we need to go back to unpacking, all right? Was there... Okay, Brian, I did try my best to pay attention to this movie. I do not recall any instance of great oppression of women in it.
Well, okay, I can... No, it's basically just... Okay, so there's the bit where Barbie is... No, there's the bit where Barbie's roller skating when they first arrive in the real world, and her and Ken are roller
the
skating.
dude slaps her in the ass.
Yeah, guy slaps her in the ass. A bunch of dudes say, "Hey, smile for me," and the construction workers are like, catcalling and stuff. So that's oppression. I know you don't think it is, but it is, and you have to believe it because women experience this all the time, and I'm surprised they make it home in one piece because there are men who give them attention. No, that's in... Well, I don't think that really happens at the scale that they claim. But I'm saying, like, maybe what I think might happen is maybe a woman experiences something like that one time. Like, she's in, like, a neighborhood, and she's, like, dressed in a flattering way because why wouldn't she want to be? And a man says hello. Do you remember that video, Walking 10 Hours in New York City? And it's just a bunch of dudes saying hello. So a man says something... without asking permission, like, do you mind if I greet you, lady, right? Woman folk. And from that point on, if they are narcissists, because you have to be a narcissist to think this, then every man who glances in her direction is doing that and worse. And so they start, oh my God, I was assaulted, I was catcalled. It's the same thing, right? So it's not really about what actually happened in the real world. It's about how women feel about what happened. Not about the nail.
I think I've had something like that happen.
Yeah.
Like one guy whistled when I was younger.
Yeah.
And when I didn't respond because I'm not a dog.
Did you die?
No.
No, you didn't. That's weird.
Walked off into my life.
No. There've been times when, like, there was this one time that I decided to walk to the grocery store instead of drive. And then I was walking home with my grocery bags. And then there was this car full of like young yahoos. And I was like 38, 39 years old. And they were like in their 20s. And they're driving by and they're in their car with the windows open. And then they're like, woohoo! And they whistled at me. And I kind of looked. I was the only one on the sidewalk. And then I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
that's what I do too.
Oh,
Like a guy was driving past. Okay, go. Sorry, finish your story.
and then I was just like, I'm fucking super pumped.
Mhm.
I'm like chuffed. This is like, yes. If a like you're 38 years old, if a hobo with twigs in his beard tells you you're pretty, you're like, yes. Okay.
And by the way, men never get
finds
that.
me attractive.
Yeah,
Men never get that.
actually what
Ever,
makes me feel
ever.
bad.
Mhm.
That is honestly, maybe people should compliment women significantly less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
I
they
agree.
should restrict all of their conversation to women to
Just-
things that will embarrass.
Well, maybe they can just shout mid
but in
from
a-
the car as they drive by.
Or they should shout, your shoes look stupid.
Yeah.
How about that?
or just things like you got a stain on your butt,
Yeah.
something like that. Just things. that
Hey, pancake ass.
Consider, or for example, if this happened, if we could just reduce the amount of compliments we give women and start just making pointed observations, perhaps the men in the Barbie movie, the beginning, let's do the wibbly imagine lines, woo, 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 woo. I don't know how to make that sound, but if we could go back to the beginning of the Barbie movie and imagine a world in which men just make pointed observations about faux pas, perhaps that guy could have slapped her pulled back her bra straps and just slapped them and said, "My God, you look like a neon sign barfed up all over you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just move on. And the construction workers would
That
just
would
call
be-
it, "Lady,
that
you're a
would
road
become-
hazard.
That would be the new oppression, obviously.
You're a road hazard. Could you tone down the gain on your swimsuit?"
Your
Mhm.
outfit,
stuff
yeah,
like
no,
that.
because it's like, it's a distraction. There is actually a rule that you can't actually make a vehicle too visually distracting.
Garish.
Yeah,
I like that. Garish. I like that word.
you can't make it too garish because it distracts other people. They start like wondering what the fuck
Yeah, but couldn't we-
is
couldn't we
going
have
on
them
with
do
this
more?
weird van.
And shout useful tips to women about health.
Yeah,
like,
useful
seed
tips.
oils are bad for you.
Yeah,
Stay away
you
from
know,
artificial sweeteners.
Don't use cosmetics with phthalates.
wouldn't that have been more funny with the?
It would have been hilarious, but
You're shouting that.
you would have to have a sense of humor, and they don't have that.
Excuse me, madam. Did you just come through a tear in the
Yeah.
time-space continuum between us and the 1980s?
I see you have cellulite. I
Are
have
you
the solution.
Spock's wife from the second Star Trek movie?
You could
that's
also
another
compare.
idea.
Yeah, somebody had a good
Oh, the
idea.
third.
You could compare them to goddesses that they actually worship on social media, but don't want to be compared to, like Lizzo.
Oh my God, are you
Lizzo energy?
Or there was that model, that really plus size model, Holiday something. I forget. It doesn't matter. Just
Yeah,
do
no,
that, yeah.
but if
Is that
I-
Lena
like,
Dunham?
all-
Would you sign my autograph? Give me your autograph, Lena Dunham. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not you.
Or they could just be like those spam ads.
Yeah.
Just shout
Tess,
random.
thank you.
advertisements.
Tess Holiday is the woman I was thinking about. Tess Holiday, yeah.
Okay, all right. But wouldn't it
Okay.
be funnier? It would have been freaking hilarious.
Yeah, if only we had writers.
Yeah, but who the hell in this day and age? What man? Okay, who is not an immigrant? Because let's be honest here, or part of a particular community, slaps a man or woman on the ass.
It doesn't. It
First
doesn't.
of all, she
You
was
know what?
fucking rollerblading.
They were hoping, what they were actually trying to do in that scene, I don't know if you know this, Allison, but when they shot that scene where Barbie is rollerblading on Malibu Beach, which obviously they had to like clear out all of the fucking homeless tents and all of the fecal matter, but that I digress. But before they did that shot, they wanted to do it like organically, just have Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling in their outfits rollerblading down Malibu Beach on the path or the boardwalk or whatever. And what they were hoping was that men were going to like catcall her and stuff, and they would like get it and make it a film, but nobody would do it. The only person that was getting like, shout outs and hollers was Ryan Gosling. He was getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because California is really fucking gay, Allison. And women don't have a problem calling men, catcalling men anyways.
Oh, but this is for real. In the real world.
Yeah, in the real world, Ryan Gosling would get the attention. It's the opposite, yeah. And even if men wanted to catcall, what's her name, they would probably have been terrified to like do it because of, they get thrown in prison and lose their jobs and everything. So
and also it was on camera, so I imagine.
And it was on camera, exactly. So they had to hire guys to do those scenes.
I think that the woman who played Barbie is
Margot
not
Robbie.
as attractive,
Margot Robbie, yeah.
actively as Ryan Gosling.
Well, she is, but it's kind of, if you look at like rating men and women from on a scale of 1 to 10, I think they're both probably 10s, right? But the number of women who are a 10 or who would qualify as a 10 is greater than the number of men who would qualify as a 10.
Not
because
in my cosmology,
don't you know, Allison, 80% of men are below average in attractiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. But in my cosmology, I think Ryan Gosling was more attractive than the woman. So I get it that in real life he got more attention.
I
wish we could see that footage.
I think the potential consequences of the Me Too movement and everything has made it impossible to determine that in public because men wouldn't be willing to take the risk. Women, on the other hand, and gay men, they don't care because if you're doing that to a man, nobody complains. And Ryan Gosling didn't complain either. He didn't feel weird about it. But Margot Robbie was probably like on the lookout for that. And I think that all the men, all of the real people that were standing around were like, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Like, I know who that is.
What you're saying.
They literally tried to have a documentary style moment in the middle of this film
to prove the objectification thing. Yeah, but it didn't work out.
That was the one thing that they had to make fictional.
Well, the whole movie is a lie.
Everything is made fictional.
Yeah, everything is a lie, but yeah.
Anyway, it is 4:52. I have to go in 3 minutes.
All right. Should I do a little more of this?
Tiny bit.
I'll read the super chats and chows and stuff afterwards.
We can finish this up as well.
Yeah, he just confirmed many things I always knew, like his empathy and how emotionally intelligent he is, Hofler also told NBC News. I think it's easy for a woman to understand the movie, but I never expected him to get everything at this level. More from the news network. Part of the shock, these women say... Jojo, shut up! Part of the shock, these women say, comes from the assumption that men who are willing to engage in supportive conversations about feminism are hard to come by. Katie Alvarez, 21, of Vancouver, British Columbia, of course is Canada, posted in a viral TikTok video this week that she, quote, can't relate, end quote, to all the women lamenting that their boyfriends did not understand the movie. Alvarez said her boyfriend suggested and planned the whole outing, including finding a Barbie-themed outfit for himself that specifically matched hers. After the movie, she said, he listened to and validated the thoughts she shared about navigating the world as a woman.
Oh my god, oh my god, like, red flag.
Yeah.
Dude.
Christy Alvarez or whatever your name is. Because that guy is not sane. Okay, like I'm telling you this, thinking that you are a sociopath. Okay? You are a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
But sociopaths can control their behavior. They can actually become productive and successful members of society if they're socialized in an appropriate way. But whatever it is your boyfriend did there, that is not okay.
Yep.
Well,
That
think about
was
how
insane.
easy it is. All you have to do is go to this movie and say yes to everything they say, and then
Yes,
they feel
dear.
lucky to
Yes,
have
dear.
you.
Yes, dear.
Because
Yes,
if
dear.
a man has an opinion, then he's a bad man, or
Yeah,
something.
no, or he just has to say, well, yes, dear. I
doesn't fucking
completely
care.
agree. I completely agree with what you just said.
He doesn't
Mhm.
he either is preying on you,
He's either faking it.
or he's terrified of you.
He's faking it because he's terrified of you, or
Yeah.
he's faking it because he just is like anything to get in her pants.
Yeah, well, there was something about this, like, this is subtle, like, posturing. I'm a luckier woman because my boyfriend understood. But the other thing is that these guys are just lying to these women. Like, they're just agreeing with something that's
Well,
bullshit. Like, they're agreeing with this perception. Yes, you are a victim. That is your role as a woman in society.
If
is as
they're
the
not,
victim.
no, I think some of them aren't lying. Those are the ones you need to stay away from. Because if they think that you're victims, that's how they perceive you, right? In this society, in the overall context of this society, if they believe that you are indeed a victim of every conceivable circumstance, okay? It's because they want to victimize you.
Or they just don't want you to think that you could get a better man. There was something about this that really bugged me the first time I read it. And I think part of it is, like, what is all of the horrible things that you endure as a woman? What were the examples? Like, what happened to what's her name on the boardwalk, which they had to fake because they tried to do it for real and it didn't happen? So this is a completely constructed fiction. This entire narrative about women's victimhood is as constructed as Barbie Land. And they don't even realize it. It's like a Barbie Land within a Barbie Land.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really that happened to women in this movie that I can see that wasn't consistent with the normal average human life. That wasn't consistent with corporal existence itself. You're not special, ladies. Nothing that happened to women in this was special. And all of that stuff that happened to Robbie was faked. It literally had to be simulated. So the entire context of the patriarchy that victimizes women had to be simulated. Like a freaking Barbie doll universe within a Barbie doll universe.
Yeah, no, it's like, yes, when you actually have to manufacture the evidence. I mean, wasn't there some freaking a social scientist recently who got outed? She was
The
talking.
truth researcher.
Yeah, the truth and honesty researcher, fabricated her data. And it's like, yeah, no, all of her data from all of her many studies was all fabricated. And it's just like, okay, so basically you have this thing that you want to prove, and you just manufacture something convincing, right? That goes along with people's, I guess, their confirmation bias, right? Their existing predispositions, their vulnerabilities emotionally and psychologically, right? That plays on their little weaknesses and all of that, and flaws, and you just make something that basically it makes to an autist or to a robot or to an alien from outer space, it would make no sense at all. They would be like, what the fuck are these people on about? It's no wonder the aliens won't talk to us.
Mm-hmm. And so what these women are doing is determining whether or not their partner buys into constructing this patriarchal Barbie land, this complete fiction in which they are a victim.
Yeah.
In which women are victims because they are women. So you're selecting for men who enjoy you occupying the role of victim because you're a woman.
Yeah.
Or enjoy reducing you down to a victim. So when you go out and you say, I'm helpless in the face of this, I'm helpless in the face of that, I'm helpless in the face of X, Y, and Z, your boyfriend's like, yeah, you're right, you are.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah.
You're helpless, and guess what? You're never going to get a better man than me.
Yeah, and you need
really?
me.
And you need me because I'm the one good man, the one good feminist man. This just reminds me of, you remember, I'm going to bring up the D guy, the Russian dude. Remember him?
Deadpool, Russian Deadpool.
I don't like saying his name. I remember the day before he killed his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And was upgraded, I think, to first-degree murder eventually.
It was.
The day before or a couple days before, I think it was Skeptor, asked me to come on a stream with him, and I said, no, that guy's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't want to engage with him at all. And I remember.
Yeah, no, I went on one live stream with him too, and then I was like, never again.
Yeah, this guy was truly a scary dude, and both me and Karen figured it out completely separate from each other. And I am a fucking autist, and I saw those red flags. And the two feminist women living with this feminist man picked up none of it.
Yeah.
And this is why.
And they shot one of them in the chest and killed her. And while the other one was, I don't know, maybe running after him out the door, begging him not to. And the third member of his harem was on Skype, listening in.
Yeah. And this is why feminist women have no ability. They just clog up their threat receptors with this bullshit.
Yeah, and they can't see anything real.
And they get taken in by men who are like, you should be lucky to have me, or they don't even say it. They just let
they say
by framing it.
They say, oh, you're absolutely right. You are a victim. Oh, you're absolutely right. You are a victim at every turn. Oh, you're absolutely right. Life is very difficult for women. Oh, and watch me posture on YouTube about how I would like beat the shit out of any man who sexually assaulted a woman, right? Meanwhile, the guy's like, he's got a harem of 3 women who he's psychologically and sexually abusing, from what I heard. And he's and then he ends up killing one of them.
Yeah. And it's like, what I'm trying to get at here is beware the men who are like who start to construct a world in which they're the only good one. And that you can only get a fair shake from them. Because that is a form I don't want to say grooming, but it's a form of, what's a good word for doing this to an adult?
Manipulation. And in which patriarchy is actually real. Oh, it's all real. It's all real, and you need me to protect you from it.
Well, I mean, he doesn't even need to make that explicit. It can just be implicit.
He made that explicit. He made that explicit whenever he threatened to beat up men's rights activists for, like, saying bad things about women and feminists and all of that, right? So
Okay, let's so we've got
Okay.
only like one paragraph left, really.
oh Jesus, okay, let's get
All
through
right,
it.
well, there's more than that.
No,
All
there
right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll read it. I have a lot of
Read
friends who had
paragraph.
boyfriends who were like, that has nothing to do with me, or like, I'm not interested in that, so I don't want to go watch it, Alvarez noted to NBC News. A lot of men just see Barbie and are like, no, that's me. But I think I'm just surprised to have a man who let me have my opinion and not try to put his own spin on it. Hassana Boudera, 18 of Dunkirk, France, said in a
Wait, can you
TikTok
just
video.
Stop for a second?
Okay.
I'm surprised to have a man who let me have his opinion without putting his own spin on it. So he can't have. He lets you have your own opinion by not having his own opinion, basically.
Yep. Yeah, basically treating it like fact.
And
I regret
all
to
fiction,
inform you
lady.
all, women. I'm sorry. It's just I keep seeing it.
no,
I keep seeing it.
I want to
Do
argue
they know
it,
something we
but
don't?
at this
They're led by a
point,
woman. What does a woman know?
at this point, like I can't. Like this is the biggest movie of the year. I think it's this.
It's pretty big.
This appeals to the average woman. We're here. This is it.
Well,
Like,
We're
this
in this
makes-
room now, yeah.
we're in this room now. Yep. That's
Yeah,
right.
we're in this room, and to be quite frank, this makes the average woman contemptible.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
continue.
All right. Hassana Boudera, 18 of Dunkirk, France, said in a TikTok video that Barbie discussions can be a compatibility test on future dates with men, the news network reported. NBC News added that the Barbie movie has led some women to end relationships with incompatible partners. Teresa Arzate, 27 of Dallas, told the news network that her ex-boyfriend in-theater reaction was a wake-up call and that she's moving out next month and looking for an apartment. There were certain parts where he was like, "Oh, are you crying?" in dislike and total shock, and it just really upset me, Arzate added to NBC News. His reaction to Barbie just really took me aback. This isn't the kind of partner that I want to have. So the parts where the crying was like, oh, there was a lot of like Margot Robbie's Barbie crying because she realized like, I don't know, like the world sucks for women or something. I don't know. I would have been just like this guy. Are you fucking kidding me? I wouldn't have gone though. If a woman asked you to go to the Barbie movie with her, you dump her on the fucking spot.
Why was she crying?
If a
Why was she
woman,
crying?
You know, it was like the realization that the sisterhood is like, you know, in trouble, and she was actually not good for women, although she thought she was, and all of this. It's all about disenchanting. It's all about disenchanting the toy. I don't know why Mattel went along with it. I assume they didn't know either, because that's really what it comes down to. Oh, by the way, Karen, can you send me a link to the story that talks about this lawsuit? Because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
oh, you might want to look for it on. I don't know whether it's been filed yet, but there's talk about one,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
it was discussed on Viva Barnes Law.
Oh, Viva Fry? Oh, the Viva Barnes. Oh, I know who they are. Yeah. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, it was discussed on there, and Robert Barnes said, if they want to bring the suit, they have a case.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So,
good.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
But-
Well, there you go. Like false advertising. I would say that this was ridiculous because it was basically constructing a patriarchy, this false view of women's lives in the greater patriarchy. And of course, men can't give their opinion. Women have to be the victims of everything. And men can't point out things like, well, men were the construction workers. In reality, men are also the people who pick up the trash. And in fact, the movie really made me ask a question. Who decides the Barbies that pick up the trash? Like, there's the Barbies that get to do the all-night girl night parties.
Yeah.
And then there's Barbies that apparently have to get up at 4 a.m. to pick up the trash of the other Barbies. And I'm like, oh, so who made the decision that those Barbies would do that? Because, throughout the entire movie, Robbie doesn't do a freaking lick of work related to utilities or anything else like that. But we do see construction worker Barbies and trash collection Barbies, which was a surprise because that's never really been a focus.
It's not a
For
doll.
Barbie.
It doesn't exist. I don't know why they put that in there. There is no
Yeah.
there is no
Ironic.
sanitation Barbie doll. There is no laborer
No
Barbie doll
sanitation
of
work.
any kind. No.
Yeah. There's no utilities Barbie doll. There's no carpentry Barbie doll. Maybe there's a carpentry Barbie doll, but there's no
No, there isn't.
construction work. There's
No.
no,
No.
spreading
There's no-
asphalt Barbie doll.
No.
No.
There's no
No,
coal
it's
miner Barbie.
ironically-
There's no like tarmac laying Barbie.
There,
No,
there's
none of that.
there's no cutting her own front lawn Barbie.
Yeah, there isn't even a Barbie that does shit around the house. She just
There's-
shops
yeah, there's
and
no-
she wears clothes.
Yeah, that's basic, and she has really cool jobs. At least at least they look.
Oh,
cool.
she's a doctor and a lawyer, and then she's a pregnant woman. But except she should feel shame for that. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I'm
Okay.
already like 15 minutes over when I
All
needed
right.
to go, and
Okay.
I will see you guys later.
Okay.
My dogs are going nuts. All
Will
right,
you be able to? Will
All
you be able to
right, Karen.
rejoin tomorrow then?
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to text.
Yeah,
All right.
to text.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Talk to you guys
Okay,
later.
yeah.
All right, talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye bye.
All right. So we
All right,
need
should
to
we
finish
do-
off things
yeah.
unless you
Let's
unless
do
you have
the-
any other commentary.
No. We can do the thank yous and I've
I
read
don't
all
have
of the
any-
super chows and whatnot. So yeah.
I don't
no.
have any further thank yous. So
Oh,
what I
well.
will do, I think we did everything. So thank you all for everybody who supported. We are still about $1,715 from the total. So if you would please help us out. We only have 2 days left. Please go to feedthebadger.com/support and put what you can through. And very appreciative of everybody who has helped out so far. In particular, I'd like to do a shout out to Machine, who did $1,000
Whoa.
after the Friday show. Yeah, Machine
I-
is definitely a machine.
I don't have anything good enough. So
Nothing good enough.
no.
But yeah, thank you to Machine, and of course, thank you to Meredith, who always comes through every month.
Meredith Top G.
Top G.
She
and,
is the top
also
G.
Math Freak helps out quite a bit, and Hyper Chicken and Great Indoors also did a lot.
Awesome.
Because he's Dutch, there's always a bit of a catch to it. We had to go through that. What honestly, that show on Friday I think was an important thing to go through. It was on
Mhm.
population collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really hope people start to realize that you can't keep maligning men and making them unlovable, or making them appear unlovable and undesirable, and continue to enjoy family formation. It doesn't work.
Oh,
We
nobody's.
don't recognize the value that men bring to society.
Yep.
They have an uphill battle of generating any kind of sense of desirability. I mean, that you basically tell young men that they're socially and sexually undesirable, and then you're like, yeah, go attract a woman. And if they go to the pickup artists and they're like, how do I do this? You say that they're horrible misogynists who are raping women. or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Anyway, if you want to fight back or push back against these narratives in which men have nothing of value to offer society, and women have nothing to take responsibility for, then please go to feedthebadger.com/support. We exist because you help us out every month.
Mhm.
So it's really critical that you do that, and make sure that we can continue to pay our bills. So once again, that's feedthebadger.com/support. If you just want to send us a message, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That will send us you can send us a message up to, I think, 2,000 characters, which is quite a bit of room. And we get the full benefit of the amount, and you can send it at any time after this show
Mhm.
is no longer live, when it's up on YouTube. You just want to say hi and say you did a good job, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. So there you go. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, thanks first of all to everybody who came to the show. Really appreciate you guys joining us, and for those who supported us. through donation. Fundraising stuff. Sorry, Allison. not the other thing, but the thing. Thanks for the help. I'll just say that. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed in the show today. There is a link to the article in the description. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of the Rant Fundzerker, and we'll talk to you all in the next video.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.